There we are.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable Discussion. This is episode 32. Before we get started, let me remind you that we are covered by the BIP-COT no government license that allows for the reuse, redistribution, and modification of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the agents thereof. You can learn
No
more about
bludgies
that
allowed.
at bipcot.org. That is bipcot.org. Sorry, I had technical difficulties for a second, but I'm good.
Because we're professionals.
We are totally professionals with a little p and it's spelled wrong and like the R is backwards. And,
Right.
yeah.
And we used it out of context anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, we got a full house tonight.
Yes.
We got returning guests, Andrew and Justin, joining us. How you guys doing?
Hello,
What's
TV
up,
land, or whatever it is. Interwebs.
YouTube land.
Sure, whatever, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Me too.
They're
Yeah,
all
you guys
drunk
back.
except for me.
What's up?
Somebody has to be the designated podcaster.
Oh, Mark's in the house.
Hey, Mark.
What's happening?
Fashionably
Hey.
late.
It's 9 o'clock.
It's like
I'm an anarchist. I do what I want.
We were just talking
Is that
about
Mark?
clocks are a spook.
That's right. Time is
It's
a
a
social
social
construct.
construct.
Yeah.
There you
Here we go. Here we go.
Clocks are a spook.
Hey, Mark, did you get what I sent you?
I did. I was hoping to make the Facebook post about it, but I just haven't been on Facebook that much.
I understand.
But I'm going to say it on the air. Derek is my best friend in the world. Screw everybody else who she says the yummy shit.
We already got a podcast. A comment. You say professional, but that one guy, Justin, is literally laying in bed.
Yeah, naked and drunk.
And naked,
It's
naked
plumbing
and drunk.
Professional.
I'm Nick, by the way.
You got to keep the streak alive. You know what I mean?
I have to do it.
Is it wrong to get a blowjob while we're live if I'm just standing here talking about it?
No, it's not wrong at all.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time, Mark. We know it wouldn't be the first time.
Jake,
Keep it classy.
question.
What's that, Justin?
Absolutely.
I actually have people that want to watch this shit.
Nice.
For some reason, they can't see us.
Oh, no.
There's a small delay between what you and I are seeing and what they're seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes quite a bit.
The link that you gave me is legit.
The YouTube link, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
I
are
will let.
hashtag classy as fuck.
Oh,
Well, that's what. Well, half of you guys are
DJs on
ex-military,
Uh-huh.
so nothing's out of bounds. Nothing's out of bounds
You know.
Excellent.
That's the way we like it, though.
until we get thrown off of YouTube, and then
Don't we have to like
Yo.
record it and put it on a website or something?
Me and Dan are about to go deep
That's
No
what she
doubt.
said.
down the
Yeah,
rabbit
me
hole.
too.
So should we just jump into it, because I really want to get to this first one, just because.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Send it,
Let's
send
do
it.
it.
All right, I gotta bring up the article.
I've got one for Jim too.
All right, this is from I can't even read the title yet. I'm just gonna have to. Former Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton says identifying as a capitalist hurt her in the 2016 campaign.
It's 2018, and you are however you identify, regardless of whether it's true or not, apparently.
apparently she should have identified as a presidential candidate. Biden.
Yeah.
Yep.
She should
Oh,
have just
shit.
identified as the president of the United States,
Yep.
because that's how that works.
Clinton.
Is nobody still talking about how she fucked over Bernie Sanders?
It
Yeah, right?
actually.
Oh,
Okay. Clinton,
Like
who
had
beat
Seth
up.
Rich killed.
Bernie guy. I'm not a huge fan of Bernie, but for Christ's sakes, that guy he should have been the Democratic nominee for the general election.
right. He was like their fucking
no different.
messiah.
No
Yeah.
different than what McCain did to Ron Paul in 2012.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
Or Romney. Sorry, Romney.
I love Dr. Paul. I don't think that he was that close to being the nominee.
Clinton, who beat out Democratic Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders for the party's nomination, said Wednesday in an interview in Time Incorporated Brand's executive her economic policies probably, quote unquote, a hard sell for many Democratic voters. Quote,
wait, time out.
What?
What is
We're
this?
gonna need
What publication?
This is thehill.com.
The Hill.
The Hill, yeah, The Hill.
Like Capitol Hill.
Right.
Yes.
All right, so this is the same woman that did her thesis on fucking Saul Alinsky, right?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Quote, it's hard to know.
Capitalist, right?
Quote, it's hard to know, but I mean, if you're the Iowa caucus and 41% of Democrats are socialists or self-described socialists, and I'm asked, are you a capitalist? And I say yes, but with appropriate regulations and appropriate accountability. You know what probably gets lost in the, oh my gosh, she's a capitalist, Clinton said.
I do not think that word means what you think it means.
What she's basically saying is, well, I'm a capitalist, but not in any actual definable way a real capitalist by any stretch of the imagination. And they missed the part where I said, well, I'm a capitalist, but I'm actually not a capitalist at all.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Just to reiterate,
I'm a capitalist, but just with no capitalism. Right.
Just to reiterate what Andrew said, because that's how socialism works.
And I'm just the capitalist with no capital. Kind of sucks.
In no discernible, definable, measurable way is Hillary Clinton a capitalist.
Hell no.
No, absolutely not.
She accidentally, on purpose, said capital.
Right.
Yeah.
She's a socialist, I think, and she is definitely, I think, a poor socialist.
No. I will say she is not even a socialist because she does not believe in the redistribution.
No.
I will say she is absolutely a corporatist.
Right.
Yeah, and that's how I was going. Is she's
concentrate all the wealth
corporatist
at the top for her and her friends.
Yeah, and personally, I would throw corporatism and socialism in the same kind of dumpster fire.
I was just gonna say that.
Is what I'd say. But
dumpster fire, yeah. Well, the whole thing is like it kind of meets up at the end. You know what I mean? It's like socialism and fascism, kind of like it's like two sides of the same coin.
What's the only difference between communism and fascism?
Well, okay. See, people misinterpret what fascism is, in my opinion, because to me, studying the word, like the etymology of the word, the way that I have, fascism is a method. Mm-hmm. It's not a system. It is a way to bring about a preferred system. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Mussolini described it as like there's
a lot of social
with corporation government.
Okay, who's going to talk? I think we have too many fucking people on here.
He's actually hitting a piece that's actually important here. So, Dan, go for it.
Well, no, I was just going to say that, in terms of corporations paying those the men and women people who want to manipulate the market in their favor. And on the bottom end, you got fucking socialism where it gets in government to keep those,
All right, Dan, you're having a technical issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is anybody else?
You gotta
is that
get
just
some
me?
better internets, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Yep.
I literally was about to say everything Dan just said. The only difference is that Dan can't say it because nobody heard what he said. But the answer to the riddle is, this is the answer to the riddle, okay? Fascism, Derek just said, is a modality. It's a method.
Mm-hmm.
Fascism is what we have now in the United States. It's the fact that they're listening to this conversation. You know who the fuck they are.
Yes.
Everybody knows who the fuck they is. They're listening to this conversation. And I had somebody come up to me and say, "Do you honestly believe that they're actually watching your fucking emails? They're reading your emails, bro? You actually
yes,
yeah, we know that they are.
We know that they are.
Well, yes, and that's what I said. I said, first of all, yes.
There's a few of us in this virtual room who have had security clearances, and we fucking know they are.
They literally, like, well, even if you haven't, fucking Edward Snowden is a thing, okay?
Right.
So,
yeah.
no.
Not only is he a thing, he's a real thing in Russia.
Yeah.
Like he lives there.
Well, the whole thing with that is that, like, they skirt the laws in terms of surveillance because they have the Five Eyes program, and they're allowed to have other countries spy on, like, UK can spy on U.S. citizens for the United States.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
they used to put effort into skirting the law. Nowadays, they don't even fucking care about skirting it anymore.
They don't care.
They just break it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the point was what I was getting at is this. I was talking to somebody, I forget who it was. They were like, "Oh, you really think that they're watching your shit, bro? Like, you think you're that important?" I'm like, "No, dude. I don't think I'm that important at all.
I just think they're that fucking nosy."
But so this is the analogy. This is the reality and the analogy that I used. Okay. Everybody here in this podcast has been fishing before, I assume. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been out fishing somewhere on a lake or whatever.
Yep.
Yep.
How many times have you ever gone out on the boat, sat there all fucking day with bait and fucking beer and a rod and reel, all that shit?
A lot of
Sat there on the
beer.
fucking boat
A lot of beer.
day long, all day long, and not caught one single fish.
It happens.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
happened.
that's pretty much my average fishing trip is just taking
Drinking beer, catching nothing.
Exactly.
So here's the answer that I give to the tinfoil. When they ask, "Oh, you think they're watching your shit, right?" How many times have you been on the lake, gone out and fished, gone on the lake, and caught every fucking fish that there is a catch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it doesn't happen.
Yep.
It never happens. You know why? Because only the big ones matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Edward Snowden matters.
Check this out, right? This
Ross
dude named
Silver.
Marcus Wolf, if you ever look him up, he was involved with developing the spy program post 9/11, and he was like head of the Stasi and shit over in East Germany.
Yeah, we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We always call it last week, even though it was 2 weeks ago, because that's
show.
just too much to keep track of.
Man, fuck, I don't know.
So,
Dan was talking about this.
yeah.
Stasi, keep going.
Dan?
Oh no, I was just saying. So it's like, it's one of those things that, like, to say that they're not, watching us and, like, paying attention to what's going on is just kind of foolish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Buck, you might say, guy.
Perfect segue.
That's been a thing on this podcast.
I was going to get to this article later, but we're already there. So, NSA triples metadata collection numbers, sucking up over 500 million call records in 2017.
Holy shit!
That was like 5 months ago.
Yeah, the National Security Agency revealed a huge increase in the amount of call metadata collected from 151 million in 2016 to more than 530 million last year, despite having fewer targets.
Wow.
A transparency report issued by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, that sounds like a propaganda, shows numerous other fluctuations in the volume of surveillance conducted. Foreign surveillance-related inquiries, warrantless 702 content queries involving U.S. persons jumped from 5,288 to 7,512.
God damn.
And more citizens were, quote, unmasked, indicating a general increase in quantity.
What the fuck does unmasked even mean?
They have it in quotation marks.
Ah, Jesus.
Yes. On the other hand, the number of more invasive PIN registry, trace, and tap orders dropped by nearly half to 33, with even fewer targets. Far less than the peak in 2014, 135 orders targeted 516 people. So realistically, they're only really actively tracking 33 people according to this report. However, they did have over 530 million records requests.
Now, that's NSA.
Yeah,
that tracking number. That's NSA. Now, what people need to understand is there are multiple intelligence agencies and elements. And they all track different people, different fucking things.
DIA.
Yeah.
Do you guys want a really cool look on the inside of the U.S. intel community they'll probably go to jail for?
I could go get Kevin.
No, okay, so the NSA doesn't actually have a charter to operate
domestically, yeah.
Whereas the Central Intelligence Agency, or as I usually wind up calling them because it's just the way I got used to calling them, the agency, they don't have a charter to operate domestically. So what's supposed to happen is that if a target is tracked from outside the country to inside the country, that is supposed to be a handoff from the agency, from the OGA to
the FBI,
NSA, FBI, whoever it has jurisdiction. The NSA technically is the one that OGA hands off to, and then they hand off to whoever they need to hand off to. That's the way it's supposed to work. Where things get really interesting, from what I've understood from a couple of analysts that I've had interactions with in a previous life, is that
that's what my husband does. He's an analyst.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I've been told from analysts is that what happens, though, is that a new records request goes in for every step of that handoff. So regardless of whether or not OGA actually has those records or not, doesn't matter. Everybody else requests them too, because they're hoping that with that new request, they get a little bit more new data, and they can track down whatever it is that they're trying to track. The problem is that if that data reveals, like if you happen to be in a conversation on the phone, or say, I don't know, a podcast with somebody who says the word bomb or Allah or president or airplane or anything like that.
Yeah, the word farming program.
Right. At that point, then Prism in particular is going to track that, and it's going to throw that into a metadata file, and then you're going to wind up being included in that. So the next agency that has that records requests not only the previous target, but also now your information. And if you happen to have a conversation where one of those words comes up, then that gets included in the following agencies, and it expands and expands and expands. And what people don't realize is that is a spider web that winds up connecting every citizen of the United States in the entire planet. It doesn't matter what country you're in, doesn't matter anything. Every single person winds up in that metadata pool because of that. And then they use that to justify it but he said the word bomb.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite part.
Talk to me, because I start every cell phone conversation with the words bomb, Allah, and president, just because I think it's fucking hilarious.
Andrew,
what's that, Justin?
You know what my favorite part about that is? I know they're listening, and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I have a lot of guns, asshole.
Yeah. I don't have any. I lost them all in a tragic boating accident. So.
I didn't.
I don't care.
I didn't. I have a lot of guns.
Gun owners are.
I've always known. See, I've always known that they would be scrutinizing me because I used to work for the NSA.
Well, yeah, that's what you did in the Navy, right? Was intelligence.
Yeah. Well, and cryptology and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, sweet Christ! Do you have any idea how many analysts are watching this? So I was a Green Beret, and then we got some analysts like, hey, you know what? Hey guys, how you doing? How's that coffee?
Right.
I've been there. I've been to the DoD. It's shit. I know.
Justin would know. There's certain of us who, because of things that we did and places that we worked in our past lives before DD 214 and chill, we know we're on these fucking lists for them to fucking keep their eyes on
I've
it.
been on this list my whole life. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin,
Come get it, bitch.
Derek, Kevin works intelligence too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's an analyst.
Yeah.
An analyst, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he's over at the Office of Naval Intelligence is where he works at right now.
So
we're the Intel community's favorite show.
So everybody wave to the NSA guy. Wave to the NSA guy.
For real, legit.
Oh, dude, I aim my webcam specifically at my dick when I masturbate. So
nice. You're a brave soul.
Yeah, that's right. You're getting paid like barely above minimum wage to watch me. That's right. You enjoy.
General Mathis appreciates your patriotism.
I've actually met Mattis a couple of times. He's actually and I'm going to get really unpopular in the anarchist community for saying that. Mattis is actually a rational and freedom oriented person for everything else. Amazingly so.
I like Mattis.
You know, and that's the thing. You know, a lot of
here we
students that I
go with
know,
the turd in the punch bowl crew.
You know, a lot of people that I know are extremely rational people, and they just haven't connected the last dot. You know, and so many of them, just the idea of living without authority, without government is so foreign. It's just never occurred to them.
Yeah.
But they have all the elements. They have all the philosophy. They have, you know, they have honor, and they're decent people, and they've got all the elements. They're just not put together.
Yeah.
Because they associate it with fucking absolute chaos and, like, you know, complete vacuum of you know, any kind of structure.
It's like one of the most effective propaganda campaigns ever waged.
The etymology of the words tell you what it says, like anarchy, anacros.
Yeah, no rulers. It's that fucking simple.
Like, I don't know how hard that is to understand, but
I mean, people.
Like, what Dan just said is that they demonize it. They demonize the word. They make it sound so bad.
It's the great man.
Chaos.
It's the great man boogeyman. It's the great man boogeyman fallacy.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's all kinds of bad shit. It's chaos and fucking, like, no, dude. Like, hey, get it.
Yeah.
Human
like
beings are relatively decent creatures.
But you know, to me, the questions or the perception somebody has of what anarchy would really be like, to me, that says more about them a lot of times than it does, of course, about what anarchy is. People are like, oh, people would be raping and pillaging in the streets. And I'm like, oh, would you? Are you telling me that you would be raping and pillaging if nobody were here telling you not to?
Well,
no.
I'm kind of mostly Vikings, so.
But,
so all right,
you know,
I got a button.
What's stopping you from doing that now? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I got hold on. Time out, you guys. I got to butt in. We got a conversation going in the chat, and I want to bring it up.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm just going to use their names that they have. Chud Fucksworth. Capitalism equals glorified voluntary slavery, and then TL Bebop. That's your girl, Justin. Hierarchies happen even in nature. Voluntary hierarchy is fine. Why are you against voluntary hierarchy? Chud says it's not voluntary, though. TL says what isn't. Chud Fett says bosses. If you don't work for a master, you starve. That's not voluntary. It's work for a capitalist or get the bullet. TL just responded. TL just responded. Business, you can open a business and offer a service and work for yourself, or you can work for a job and agree upon the voluntary hierarchy of working that position. So, what is?
Okay, so time out. First of all, let me just.
Your girl's handling that.
Before TL got in on that, okay. This is what I gotta say to that communist piece of shit helicopter bait. I was thrown in from a fucking rotary aircraft from high altitude.
Oh,
all right, settle down, Pinochet.
Let me explain.
All right, let's go around the horn. Let's start with Justin.
Don't make me invoke Godwin here.
Let me explain this, okay? Wages are slavery, bro. Like, wage slavery, bro. If you don't fucking work for wages, you starve to death. As opposed to what? hunt or starve to death, gather or starve to death,
Right.
fucking build a fucking shelter or starve to death,
or being forced
work
to
on behalf
in
of the
collectivism.
commune or starve to death.
You know what's funny?
This shit is older than time immemorial. Like human
Survival
beings the things
requires
that they need to
work.
do to not starve to death for as long as human beings have been in existence.
If
Survival
I don't fight off this
requires
saber-toothed tiger, it will eat me. That is oppression.
Only with capitalism have we found a system
where you only have to be
poor
good at
people are
one
fat.
fucking thing. You only have to be good at one goddamn fucking thing to
One
live
thing.
a life of relative
That's it.
luxury. That's it.
Yeah,
One-
all right,
you
okay,
don't have to know how to build a house and hunt and trap and farm and
You don't got to do any of that. All you got to do is be good at coloring hair.
right.
Can I?
Uh-huh.
Right.
That's the hairdresser.
Hold on.
Hairdresser?
Can I interject here?
Yes, sir.
So Rojava, right? How many people know what that is? Anybody?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so Rojava is a place that, for all intents and purposes, is an anarcho-capitalist experiment of a state.
It's in the Middle East, right?
It's northeastern
northeast Syria on the Turkey border.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right. All right.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
Okay, so if you've never lived with the Kurds, you might not understand the Kurds, and I get that.
I love Kurds.
Oh yeah, I adore the Kurds on just a ridiculous level.
Peshmerga's my shit, bro.
They're almost unfair because their women are gorgeous and their lifestyle is phenomenal, and it's not fair. But so that area of the world is effectively anarcho-capitalist already, right? You get what you earn by labor and things. There is nothing free, nothing given to you, and no one will protect you if you don't give them a reason to. And it's perfect. It is basically an anarcho-capitalist state. And you know what? If you've ever been to anywhere in Kurdistan, it just fucking works, right?
I love the fact that you said Kurdistan, by the way.
What?
I love the fact that you said Kurdistan because I know where Kurdistan is. The Saudis don't know.
Right. So if you look at a map, right, and I'm going to do this backwards because it's on a camera. Kurdistan is here, right? Northern Iraq. And then down over, well, let me think, over here. This is where Rojava is, right over here. Okay.
Yep.
So it all connects. This is all Kurdish right up through here, all along here.
All right. Okay. Let's hold on. We got to go around the horn real quick because Chud is having a real hard definition of the word capitalism. Go around Justin first, and then we'll just go around the horn. What is your definition, in a single sentence, what is your definition of capitalism?
What is my definition of capitalism?
Yeah,
yes.
you first, Justin.
The definition of capitalism, the definition, not my definition, the definition is voluntary exchange of goods and services for an agreed upon compensation.
Yeah, Mark.
End of fucking quote.
All right, Mark's turn.
That's it. The voluntary exchange of goods and services for whatever agreed upon
compensation.
Yep.
Dirga.
Capitalism is the voluntary exchange. The voluntary exchange of value, and the parties agree ahead of time what something is worth to each of them and reach an agreement. It's the same thing you guys said. All capital means is
like everybody loves it.
Yeah, all capital means is value. Capital is value.
Which is entirely subjective.
Right.
Yeah.
It is subjective.
Yes, value. Yes, value. That's the problem.
Yeah, value and currency are different things.
Yes.
Oh God, do I know where this is going?
Dan,
currency
what's
is
your definition?
Easily portable.
Well, I was gonna say that these guys pretty much summed it up. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could, do work for somebody on their car or whatever, and
One sentence.
They exchange, you know. Well, sorry.
It's a run on sentence. It's a run on sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
That semicolon, baby. That semicolon.
Yeah. Work those semicolons.
Yeah,
Yeah, baby.
love that shit.
All right, Andrew.
All right, so I know where this is going, and that was one of the things that I was saying is I know exactly where they're going because I've seen this absolutely
a million fucking times.
Trend on Facebook lately from a bunch of pseudo intellectuals who think that they're somehow clever because they did a bunch of fucking shrooms and suffered head trauma. So let me go ahead and define this for these fucking idiots. Capitalism is an economic system that has been characterized by the private ownership of capital by investments that are determined by either private decision, by prices, production, and the distribution of goods that are determined by competition and scarcity in a totally free market.
Yes, absolutely. Capitalism is voluntary association, self-ownership, and a free market.
Wait, what did Andrew just say? Whatever he just said, I'm changing my answer to that.
All right.
Yeah, he pretty much nailed it.
All right. Cho just said, so you really think that people deserve to work for wages that cannot feasibly live off of? Because that's the reality of the situation.
If that's how much
oh my God.
Deserve what they fucking earn, you pussy.
If that is how much, if that is the value,
taxes,
they agreed with their boss that their work was
taxes are not capitalism. Minimum wage is not capitalism.
Uh-uh.
Regulation, bureaucracy, bullshit, raising the cost of doing business is not capitalism. Capitalism is a free market. And people don't deserve
Oddly
shit.
enough, that's all socialism.
People don't deserve shit. You are not entitled to a goddamn thing.
Right? Controversial opinion. No one owes you jack fucking shit.
You're on the wrong show for controversy.
What blows me away is that all the failures that get pinned on capitalism by socialists, by communists, all the failures that they try to pin on capitalism, the problem wasn't capitalism. The problem was when you injected socialism into a previously capitalist market.
Yeah.
Well, socialism is the fucking problem.
That's exactly it. I mean, compare, in all honesty, adjusting for population numbers, compare the number of truly homeless people, in the 19th century, say, to the 18th century to now, and I guarantee you that you'll see that number go up in direct correlation to the number of government interventions in the market, in the economy.
The number of broken homes, the number of fatherless children, the number of people on
start talking about
living below the poverty line.
We haven't even gone that far. We're getting
you'll also see an increase in
Jason. This is something that was not probably brought up in the comment section, but I'm going to bring it up now. You said something about minimum wage.
Yes.
What is the real true minimum wage?
$0.
Zero motherfucking dollars. You know why?
When you don't have a fucking job.
When you don't have a job.
Because your employer or the person you want to be employed by is being squeezed to within a fucking inch of their life by the government.
Only in a pseudo-capitalist society. We're not even talking about real, true, free market capitalism.
Corporatist.
Even the beautiful corporatist society that we live in the United States. God damn, I fucking love it. Even in the beautiful corporatist society that we live in the United States, can we afford to be so poor but so rich at the same time?
Right. Even the poorest people.
You never in your life.
Yes. Even
in your life would ever imagine that you could eat the way that you eat, that you could live the way that you live, that you could drink the way that you drink, that you can party the way that you party, that you can fuck the way that you fuck.
And this is just this is the dying breaths of what used to be capitalism. Okay, this motherfucker's chain stoking. All right, this is the end for what used to be capitalism in the United States. And there was a brief, very brief period where it was almost completely capitalist. Almost. Not quite, but almost.
Well, nothing's ever secure in this world. That's why, because it's like it fucking, you attain something for like a little while, and then, as the generations pass, it
but what I'm saying
taken
is
for granted.
Even coasting on the fucking skeleton of that.
Oh yeah.
The poorest people in this country are still in the top 5% for wealth.
Top one
globally.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5%
top 1%.
It's like top 1%. Yeah, top 1%.
No, I'm said even the poorest, like the people below the poverty.
Top 1%.
If you receive welfare, if you live in the United States, you receive welfare, you're in the top 1% of the world.
No, I don't. Yeah, I didn't mean the people. I mean like Ozark.
This is
not on welfare.
All right, okay. Well, I got another comment. It says, stop extracting surplus value in the form of profit and pay your workers better. In a truly capitalist free market society, you would have better pay because companies would have to pay better in order to attract you to work for them. And the system that we have now, the corporations, the governments are in control due to minimum wage and regulations and all that other BS that means that they only protections. That means that they only have to hire who they have to hire to run their business.
Here's the issue that most people don't realize. Okay, corporations incorporating is a legal practice. It's not a business practice. It's a fucking legal practice.
It is.
Okay? And the fact that it requires guns, lots of guns, the military to enable it, is lost on these helicopter bait.
Right.
It is.
Well, and here's another angle. Here's another angle
capitalism.
Here's another angle that I think is really important to point out. I mean, they talk about living wage. People can't live on minimum wage.
Living wage.
Listen, wait.
I've ever heard.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? That's the question you need to ask. Why can't somebody live on $7.50 an hour or $7.25 an hour? Why can't they? Because of government fucking interference with the market. You can't buy shit for that anymore. If government weren't taxing,
it isn't even that. It
driving
isn't
up
not
prices,
even going...
if inflation weren't a thing, quantitative easing from the Federal Reserve. I mean, there is so much fucking government interference with the market. Anybody would be able to live on that. If it weren't for fucking socialism.
This brand of socialism is so first world problems that it boggles my fucking mind. Having actually seen what is not first world, okay, that's the thing.
Hold on.
Yeah, I wonder if any of them have ever actually traveled outside the U.S.
Hold on. Government only exists to keep capitalism in existence.
When has government ever liked capitalism?
That is one of the dumbest comments I have ever read.
This person?
That actually gave me Down syndrome by proxy.
that is in the comments. That is Chud Foxworth.
Yeah, that says all right there.
That's actually exist.
Yeah. That's right.
That comment was so dumb.
Let me.
Oh my god! I can't.
You guys, let me break it all the way down. Let me break it all the way down. If government exists and it's sticking its fingers in the market, capitalism does not fucking exist. Government can't exist to maintain capitalism because the two, they're diametrically opposed. If one exists, the other one does not.
I read this thing. It said, real socialism has never been done, bro. I'm like, well, neither is real capitalism. But guess what? Almost socialism has caused like 200 million fucking deaths. The Venezuelans are starving to fucking death.
Starvation death.
So thank God it wasn't full socialism, because holy shit, that would look like.
No, don't you understand, Andrew? Once you come all the way around, it clicks into place and then everything's perfect.
Oh, right. We just need to kill enough people. That's right. Stalin was one way.
Statism is the utopian idea that just the right amount of violence against just the right people will perfect society.
Yep.
So okay, first of all, Jason, violence has its place. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Andrew and I had a little chat about that the other day.
Yeah,
one of my favorite quotes. I forget who said it. I think it was one of the Roosevelts. It might have been Teddy. Might have been. It wasn't. It definitely was that piece of shit Franklin. Fuck that fucking guy.
Fuck that asshole.
Nah, Teddy was decent.
Teddy. Well, he was also Teddy was also a piece of shit. But I think Teddy said it.
Teddy was a slightly more violent piece of shit.
Violence is not always the answer. Violence is not always the answer. But when it is the answer, it's the only fucking answer.
Right.
All right. Let's. And
that's what we do to communists. We should be violent with them and fucking kill them.
Let's ignore the troll. Let's ignore the troll.
Tommy for mommy.
They don't deserve the innate. They reject it. Fucking kill them all.
Let's talk about the beacon of freedom and capitalism.
Yes.
Chicago.
I hate you guys so much.
That was the best.
Oh, it's like
the best joke I heard all night.
Chicago is trying to pay down its debt by impounding innocent people's cars.
Of course.
That sounds about right.
Yes.
That sounds about right.
That's what happens when you take people's guns away.
Fine people for not having the ability to pay fines, is what you're saying?
Right. Well,
it's not only that. That's I gotta find this stupid point in the article that I wanted to bring up.
It is a level of statist brutality that's kind of mind-boggling. Like, how dare you park your car in front of your house, you monster?
Right.
Let's see. The program impounds cars when the owner beats a criminal case or isn't charged with a crime in the first place. It impounds cars even when the owner isn't even driving, like when a child is borrowing the parent's car. In total, Chicago fined motorists more than $17 million between March 2017 and March of this year for 31 different types of offenses, ranging from DUI to having illegal fireworks in the car to playing music too loud, according to the data from the Chicago Administrative Hearing. About $10 million from those fines went for driving on a suspended license, and more than $3 million were for drug offenses, or for simple drug offenses.
Well, so
that sounds about right for Illinois.
Yeah, okay. No, the city says it is simply enforcing nuisance laws and cracking down on scofflaws, but community activists and civil liberties groups say the laws are predatory, burying guilt and innocent owners alike in debt, regardless of their ability to pay or the effect losing a vehicle would have on their lives.
Yeah, that's Illinois, man. That's Illinois. Like, I live right across the border for a little while. I lived within 10 minutes of the border with Illinois.
This is socialism. This is how socialism.
You want to know who the
goes
scumbag
down.
mayor of fucking Chicago is?
Well, okay, I got
a scumbag.
Rahm Emanuel.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
He's a fucking piece of shit.
In 2007, Chicago's budget had a $94 million deficit. By the time current mayor of Chicago, Raheem Emanuel, took office in 2011, after years of steady rising structural defects and crippling recession, the city was facing $650 million in annual budget gap, not to mention the billions upon billions in dollars of unfunded public pension liabilities. Emanuel's solution has been try to nickel and dime his way out of these massive budget cuts. The Emanuel administration has jacked up the cost on just about every minor tax, fine, and permit on the city's books. Cigarette taxes, restaurant permits, valet and loading zone fees for businesses, cable television fees, mandatory vehicle stickers, towing fees, water and sewage, garbage collection, garbage or garage parking, even a fine for allowing weeds in one's yard to grow too tall. His most recent budget proposal increased taxes for Uber and Lyft rides, monthly telephone bills, and big draw sport and music events.
There was this time not too long ago. I mean, it may have been a little bit longer than me and any of us have been alive, but there was this time that we used to shoot motherfuckers in the face for this kind of shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going. Is, the
3% tax on tea. Started the fucking American Revolution.
It was a 2% tax
2%
on a breakfast beverage that we don't call coffee.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait. Emanuel also raised the fines for unlawful drugs in a vehicle from $500 to $2,000 to $3,000 if the car was within 500 feet of a school. Littering, drag racing, playing music too loud, and possessing graffiti materials or illegal fireworks also became impoundable offenses that
graffiti materials like the fucking spray paint that's in my shed.
Carried increasingly steep fines. Over the last 12 months, the city has issued $15,000 in impound fines for playing the music too loud.
Yo, say what you want to say about. Say what you want to say about.
You know the dude is
the Bunny Ranch guys.
He's a
Bunny Ranch guys in Nevada. Fucking these dudes, man. Let me tell you, fucking. They left their jobs. They left their fucking families. They left their homes. They drove in their own fucking cars with their own fucking guns and their own fucking gas. And they went out to Nevada to some fucking dude's house that they've never fucking met. They never knew this guy. They don't know him. They don't fucking. This is not their buddy. It's not their friend. It's not their brother. And they went to this guy's house. And they fucking pointed guns at federal agents. And what happened to them?
Yep, the federal agents backed off. Yeah, I was this close to going. I
didn't go, but I may have heard of people who might have been there.
I know people that were there too.
I'll tell you what. If I wasn't paycheck to paycheck, I would have fucking been there.
Yep. So, yes, that is.
Pointed gun at a fucking jackboot, say this piece of shit, motherfucking red coat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
that's not even the worst government. That's not even the worst article I have tonight, you guys.
Well, first of all,
you're really upsetting me right now. By the way,
no, but
you do this. No, I know that's the whole point of the wolf.
Dan, you're breaking
Robot
up.
Dan, man.
Robot Dan.
I love Dan.
He's speaking Zeton.
I know. I wish we could hear everything he says better because he's always got something fucking profound to say. You know.
That's why I hate when his shit doesn't work because I'm always one step away from enlightenment.
Yeah. Dan's he's like the Swami sitting on top of the fucking mountain.
What do you got, Dan?
The guy, the Rahm Emanuel, he's an Israeli dual national, and his father was one of the founders of the terrorist gangs that killed a whole bunch of Palestinians and fucking British soldiers and whatnot when they established Israel.
Well, I can't object to killing some soldiers. I'm Irish.
Yeah, I'm Irish too.
Yep. Emmanuel's a real piece of work.
Yeah.
I'm American, by the way. I don't know if y'all know this.
When I say I'm Irish, I mean I'm actually Irish. I have a passport.
Yeah, you're a dual national? Because I think that's the only other country that they allow dual national citizenship
Australia
is with Ireland.
No, my stepson has dual citizenship in Germany too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both my sons are from Australia.
Yeah.
And they have dual citizenship.
Cutest little dudes too.
Yeah.
Really
your sons are fucking adorable, Justin.
I don't have any sons.
It's Lisa's fault. It's not my fault. I'm ugly as fuck.
We know.
My son looks just like me, the poor guy.
Lisa's got some good genes, man.
That's fucked up.
All right, let's get on to this next one. This is
worse?
The one article. This is the one article that I really wanted to bring up because I know some of the comments that are kind of come from it.
Oh, geez.
This is out of Indiana.
Okay.
The Terre Haute City Council passed an ordinance in 2017. Section 4-301 of the city code states anyone hosting or allowing a dance party on the property without permit will be cited.
Gotta cut
also
loose.
The host also needs liability insurance.
Stop that, Jeffrey. Stop.
I know. I'm sorry. I really.
Yes.
I know. It's because I've been smoking since I was 16. I can't sing for shit anymore.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Jason, please continue.
Terre Haute.
Basically, what Jason was saying is that somebody that owns property that actually has
hold on.
Land was also given a ticket because their land that they own, that they actually are the proprietor of, had some kind of a get together that was too loud.
Yes.
For the king's well-being.
It didn't please the crown.
This is the worst part.
Please the crown.
30 citations have been written under this.
Wow.
Under this citation passed last year.
I tell him to eat a dick 30 times.
Yes.
Yep.
Dude,
I don't know what the deal is.
Terre Haute, Indiana is like one of the most like hyper government places I've ever seen. There have been so many things in the news lately where it's been like Terre Haute, Indiana this and Terre Haute, Indiana that. Is it because they're like in the same state as a bunch of other cities that have basically completely collapsed because of their own inherent socialism? Is that why?
Or is there just something about the Midwest that makes people like puckered up sandy assholes?
I think it's
I'm in Wisconsin.
I think it's the Midwest. Cleveland's the same way. Cleveland's a shithole. And why is it a shithole? Because it's the Midwest.
Yeah. Well, okay. Nature doesn't make shitholes. People make fucking shitholes. So if the place you live is a shithole, it's like that because of the fucking people there. And you might be one of them.
I get that. But at the same time, if the place that you live is rich in resources and also has good weather, that kind of helps.
Yeah.
Unless you're a communist piece of shit and you want to get on a helicopter.
Well, but here's the thing. If you live in a place with shitty weather and scarce resources, then your ancestors were fucking retards and didn't migrate when they should have. I'm just saying.
Well, no, you're
not wrong though. You're not wrong. Though.
I'm not.
We apologize to Nebraskans.
Again, I'm in Wisconsin. I want you all to know I am trying to defend you here.
Andrew's getting a little bit upset. It ain't that bad in the Midwest. Okay?
I'm in California. I'm in Central California. I ain't defending.
Never
shit.
say I hurt your feels, Andrew. I didn't hurt your feels.
And again, I'm Irish and I'm a Wisconsinite, so I have weird like I need to defend two very like downtrodden people. I don't know what it is. And it's
just grab a corn beer and shut up.
I drink High Life, all right? That's beer of champions.
No, it's not. It's the beer of cheap, broke motherfuckers.
Which are champions.
Get you a Blue Moon and we can talk.
Hey, I have a bunch of Wisconsin cheese in my fridge right now that a friend sent me.
What's that, dude?
A friend of mine that I went to high school with lives in Wisconsin now, and he just visited us last week and after he left, he sent us a bunch of like cheese and stuff, and it's in my fridge right now. It's good shit.
Awesome. But have you had spotted cow? Because if you have not experienced Wisconsin.
I don't know what it is, but it came in a box that looked like a fucking Holstein. I'm just saying.
Spotted cow is a beer that people have gone to jail over.
Oh, the beer. Okay.
It like literally because they imported it illegally because it's only authorized for sale in Wisconsin. It's one of those things. But no, the problem is, and I think one of the things with Indiana in particular, with what's happening in Terre Haute, and we're seeing this weird, like it's this weird microcosm of like excessive statism that seems to be happening lately, and I don't really know why it's happening in Terre Haute into fucking Indiana of all places, but it seems like that's a really weird place. Like I don't think, where's going to be a hotbed of hyper socialism? Oh, Indiana. Like I
wonder how much of these kind of like hotbeds of socialism are caused by like an imbalance between older generations and younger generations. Like if there's a whole bunch of fucking college age kids there compared to like a disproportionate amount, I wonder how much of that that has to do with
in Madison, Wisconsin, where University of Wisconsin is. You mean basically where like academia
Well, yeah.
We have that here in lacrosse, right? We have that here in lacrosse. Lacrosse, we have University of Wisconsin lacrosse, WWTC, and Globe University. We have a ton of college kids. Half of our population is college kids. I mean, we literally hold the Guinness World Record for most bars per capita of population.
Right.
You can look it up right now. Google it.
College kids, look. The problem is that
it's academia, and academia is run by who? Dan,
and we're not saying that education is the problem. We're not saying that being intelligent is a problem. What we're saying is thinking and being taught that you can outthink human nature without any actual real world experience to temper that fucking belief. That's what gives rise to fucking liberalism and socialism. And that's why college students are like that.
Chud dropping gems in the chat again. Says, you're delusional. There is no socialism in Indiana. TL says there is socialism in the entire country. Welfare, food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare are all socialism. Chud responds with, "Nope, that's not socialism. That's social welfare." I'm afraid
that's still fucking socialism.
Still socialism.
What the fuck is socialism then?
Yo, I've already spoken to one of the two parties involved in that comment thread, and it's already been established that the other party to that comment thread is a troll. Which I love trolls. Trust me, I'm a fucking troll.
Yeah,
I'm watching it. Your girl's holding it down.
When we say on Wolf, you guys feed the trolls. They push page reach.
Yes. I love trolls. I love trolls.
Long story short, communists are not human because they reject human rights.
No, they reject even human necessity. You have to work to survive. Survival requires effort. Survival equals effort. There's no fucking way around that. There's no way around it. Somebody has to put in effort towards your survival, whether it's you or someone else.
That right there, and that is the thing. That is the thing that is the reason why so many people from a lot of the communities that I'm involved with survivalism and things, because obviously I did Robin Sage. I'm a Pineland veteran. I got the T-shirt. Just saying. I went through the Q course and everything. Like, I understand survivalism, and I teach a lot of that, and I encourage a lot of that. And in a lot of that community, there is a huge, not quite anarcho-capitalist, not quite voluntarist, because they still are very, in general, pretty conservative and geopolitical.
Like three percenters, kind of.
Yeah, but they have this tendency to
3%ers
see this idea. They have this tendency to support this idea that that being able to live on your own and to figure things out and things is a benefit. They see this as a goal to go.
Well, dude, that was the original American spirit.
Right.
Well, right, and that's the thing is they see this as a goal to be able to live without other people, be able to earn everything,
self-sufficiency
from nature, be self-sufficient, exactly, and that seems to be antithetical to the idea of socialism, to the idea of communism, to the idea of statism as a whole, which is why you see over and over again all this survivalism and self-sufficiency stuff so discouraged by the state.
Well, those kind of people are put on fucking lists because they're viewed as fucking terrorists, because it's like, oh, well, they're not willing to go along with the plan and be dependent on the state.
Yeah, like, how dare these people think that they don't
Yeah.
fucking owe us their assistance and their taxes?
The difference between the communists and the rest of us, because they're obviously, again, not people.
Oh,
We have two brain hemispheres to work with.
The difference is one syllable. Okay, it's only one syllable. The rest of us, real humans that actually understand that you have to do things in order to survive. Like, sometimes you have to work. Maybe you have to go hunt and gather. Maybe you have to fucking fish. Maybe you have to earn wages. I don't know what you do what you do to continue to breathe air and metabolize fucking cells.
Maybe all you have to do is spread your legs. I mean, if you're lucky and you're born,
if you're Stormy Daniels.
Good for them too. Good for them too. But the difference is one syllable, and that one syllable is independent and independent.
Yes.
Definitely.
Independent or independent.
Right.
Communists are dependent. They have
to. They like to say that we are all interdependent, and that's why they hate people like preppers, because we put the fucking lie to their bullshit rhetoric. We are not interdependent. I don't need you. You need me, but I don't fucking need you.
Exactly. Independent people don't need the system to survive. They will find a way to do it without the system.
Right. We terrify them.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's Andrew. Like like Andrew just said, they're fucking terrified.
Yep.
Shaking their fucking boots that they bought from fucking the Gap, which is
because our very existence disproves their fucking religion, which is what it is. It's basically a fucking religion.
Well, like I said, we talked about this the last roundtable. I will never ever give him credit again, except for this one time, Larkin Rose. Sadism is a religion.
We're gonna hold you to
most dangerous. It's the most dangerous fucking religion. It is
superstition.
The most dangerous superstition.
Yeah, it's far more dangerous than any other religions or superstitions out there. It's far more dangerous than witchcraft or demonism or fucking Satanism or Catholicism or Christianity or Islam. You know, Islam is pretty much statism maxed.
Right, but
don't get started on those motherfuckers. I hate them.
Statism,
Islamofascism,
basically.
Even
right. And me and Dan are right there with the parentheses. You know what I'm talking about, brother. You know what I'm talking about. The tribe, the nation.
Well, that's just another form of collectivism, right there.
You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Those assholes, they fucking know. They know what's going on.
All right, what do we got next, Jason?
No time for.
All right,
what's up next, Jason?
All right, we gotta wait for Andrew to get back because I want Andrew in on this one.
Where'd Mark go? Anyways, he just fucking dropped out.
Mark dropped. Mark said he had to go do some. He had to. What did he say?
Oh, is he on call?
No, Mark said had to bounce. Y'all got to go capitalist.
I love it.
Right, are they working in the morning?
Whatever that means.
Doing.
Oh,
yeah.
I know.
Getting the BJ.
Well, maybe, but
capitalism is an economic system, so is socialism. You can't have both at the same time. Your son mowing the grass exists under capitalism, where your banknote holds value.
Is this
what the fuck?
Venus Pawn Dick Welder or whatever the name of the guy's name is.
Chud Fucksworth.
Yeah, he's the troll. We've already established this.
Yeah.
Like, this has already been like. I mean, okay. I like his style. I do. I like his style.
Yeah.
If he's a commie, then the word "worth" should not be in his handle. I'm fucking triggered.
Oh, no. And it should be. It should be. Yeah, pause, please.
He's a troll, and I like his style. Like he's a good troll because he actually uses a little bit of fact and knowledge and a little bit of fucking culture to like.
Yeah, well. He gave us a bunch of shit to talk about. And you know what?
Okay.
You know what's interesting is we were going to talk about capitalism anyways tonight. So.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, let's.
There he is.
Andrew's back. Okay.
All right.
Yep. All right. We've talked about the 1033 program before, right? That's one that we go to a lot where the police get, military equipment from the government and all this other stuff.
Surplus.
Right. Shit, that's why I need to found my own police department because there's
you're right.
I want.
Basically, usurpation of Paz Capitales.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
This is why we
pretty much what they did. Like,
this is why we need to build our fucking compound in Montana or Wyoming.
That's like what they had on display after the Boston bombing.
We'll set up a little PD. And we'll fucking get tanks and shit.
Cheyenne, Wyoming, 400,000 people.
All right. Two-man police department. Two-man police department acquires $1 million in military gear.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God. Dude.
They get a tomahawk cruise or some shit.
An ultra-safe Michigan town of 6,800 has claimed more than $1 million in military equipment through the Defense Department's 1033 program.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. The town can't. Let's see.
Do we know what they got?
Yes. This has come to a head in Thetford Township, the fourth safest municipality in Michigan, and home to more than $1 million in military gear and 2 police officers.
I think the moral of this story is that $1 million doesn't make you the number one safest.
Right.
It's just.
Or, hey, let's put this out there though. Military
Dude, it doesn't even
guys
put you on the fucking podium.
Let's put this out there though. $1 million worth of military gear. That's not as fucking much as people think it is.
Yeah, what they get like a drone?
Expensive.
Yeah,
They pay a lot of fucking money for that shit.
Just the free material received through the federal program includes mine detectors and Humvees, tractors and backhoes, hydro seeders and forklifts, motorized carts, and a running lawnmower. The landlocked township also got boat motors and dive boats.
Because they absolutely need
that's government in a
mines
nutshell,
on the beach that they don't have before they go on the emergency dive to the river they don't have.
But can mine detectors find like those little illegal gopher traps that you load with a fucking 12-gauge shotgun? Can mine detectors find those?
I just call those
what they're using them for?
like I make those as security on my storage.
Okay.
Right.
While much of the gear worth $1 million has never been used by the township, some has been given to residents, township officials say. The township supervisor and a trustee said the police have stymied their attempts to find out what equipment they have, where it is located, and why some of it has been given away. The police didn't keep track of what they had.
Dude, I'm going to start looking up fucking airline tickets right now.
Yeah. You know, I actually have to be honest there. The moment that you hit, they gave a bunch of it to residents. My objection would
I'm not even to the worst part yet. I'm not even the worst part yet. The police didn't keep track of what they had or what they had given away, according to the township audit last year. A belated, half-hearted audit by Police Chief Bob Kenny, supervisor of one police officer, showed his department had acquired 950 pieces of equipment, including a couple of Humvees, 3 ATVs, a tractor, a forklift, and numerous other vehicles. More than 300 items are stored off-site, which apparently means parked on private property and used by private citizens.
Wait, these cops are starting to sound like epic fucking trolls. Like they're redistributing that shit back to the taxpayers.
Right?
Yeah, you know,
this might be some fucking Robin Hood shit, and I might be okay with that.
Right, out of purely academic purposes, would anyone know the names of those officers who have all of that equipment and maybe a phone number?
Right.
For an interview, maybe, or
town supervisor Gary Stevens has been trying to get to the bottom of the oversized stockpile, but he's running into resistance. Supporters of the town's 2-person police force and apparent beneficiaries of the federal
I can't laugh every time I hear that.
have been pushing back. A recall campaign has been started by farmer Eugene Lur, who has 21 pieces of military surplus equipment on his property.
Dude, why are you issuing a recall? Like any messing with any of this is gonna fuck things up, man. Leave it be.
Dude,
Leave it be.
Every fucking sheriff's department in this country should be doing this shit. Take that shit back. Give it back to the fucking taxpayers who paid for it.
Dude, I almost want a T-shirt for this police department. Like, right? I just want to support them in any way that I can. This is beautiful. Like, yes, do that. That is fucking awesome.
Give that shit back to the people, yo.
Wait, is this still the same $1 million that we were talking about for that two-man police department?
Yes.
Oh my God.
950 pieces of equipment, including a couple of Humvees, 3 ATVs, a tractor, a forklift, and numerous other vehicles.
Yeah, but
I
Justin,
mean, I'm not
they're
taking
distributing
an
it.
Humvee is an up armored Humvee, man. I'm just
Justin, they're distributing it to the citizens of the town.
Some citizens
Some of it.
If they're distributing it to citizens of the town, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about.
If it's being like used by the town, by the citizens of the town, you know, collective use, blah 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 blah. Yeah. I'm all for it. Like, I'm totally okay with that. Like, that is homesteading government property in my eyes.
Hold on to it. It's part of the fucking militia now. You're part of the militia.
Man. That if they're actually doing what it sounds like they may potentially be doing, I am all for that. Like, that is the most perfect use of that program I've ever heard. Like,
exactly.
Like, we have two people, but you know what? If totally everybody's got armored vehicles and machine guns, who's gonna rob us?
Jason just said something about 2 minutes ago that kind of hit me deep in the feels, and then also kind of like made me think.
Okay.
Jason said, if they are using it for the collective or something, he says
of the town, yeah.
He says some bullshit about collectivism.
Well, I didn't say collectivism. I said
collective use.
Collective use. Like, if we like all together went in and bought a vehicle, that's collective use.
I've been there. Bad boy.
Bad. It's not. It's not.
There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, Justin. How about we call it joint ownership?
There you go.
Justin just doesn't like the C word.
And I just like joint use. I think joint use or mutual use.
Derek, you said it. Joint investment.
And TL says Farmer Eugene wanted a tank, didn't get one. Now he's mad.
Wait.
I want a tank, and I don't have.
TL said Farmer Eugene wanted a tank, didn't get one. Now he's mad.
What's the name of this town?
Me too.
The town is. Let me scroll back up. Blah 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 blah.
I love tanks.
Thetford Township. Thetford.
And now I know my next search on monster jobs. All right.
Yep. I'm just gonna put that in Zillow real quick.
Exactly. Are you kidding me, man? I would be all over that in a heartbeat. Like, I have lived places. You
guys, we have to make our own town. We have to build our own fucking town, and we'll be the police force of our own town. And
Jason and I have had this conversation. We've had this conversation.
It's genius.
I think Justin and I have had the conversation also.
Yes. In Wyoming, we're gonna do it in Wyoming. We're about 200 miles northwest of Cheyenne. There's gonna be horses and
hell yeah.
That way, if Yellowstone blows, we die first.
Wyoming's gorgeous.
I ain't worried about shit.
Let's go live in the caldera.
Hey, you know what? If you're dealing with a super volcano, you might as well just die right away.
Yeah. I don't want to suffer off on the edges where the rest of the people are going to suffer.
Let's grow food.
Yeah.
No, actually, I would want to survive because volcanic ash makes some great fertilizer. I'm just saying.
Right.
He's not lying.
Right. No, he's not. Yeah, volcanic soil is always super rich.
That's why Hawaii is so green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Except they like spam there. I don't get that.
Hawaii's erupting right fucking now, though.
Woohoo! Kilauea!
Yeah.
Long story short. Communists deserve to be thrown out of helicopters.
All right. We only got 2 articles left, but we got some time.
Well,
so I had to go.
To me, it's long story short. You can spout all you want about communist rhetoric, but if you try to come and fucking take and redistribute my shit, I will shoot you in the fucking face. It's that easy.
Having come, take. Mullen Love.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sitting come on.
Andrew's wearing a fucking Wolverine shirt. Like, Andrew's wearing a Red Dawn shirt. All right, can we just Andrew speak so you go to the big picture.
Okay, hang on. There we go. All right. Wolverines.
Yep.
Keeps me warm.
Yo.
Not only that, but I do have
Justin, put it down. You're drunk.
Tattoo as well.
Justin, you're drunk. Put the gun down.
That's not a bad thing.
Hey, by order of the RSO, no holding firearms while intoxicated.
Hey,
We're
veterans. We have fucking training.
Hey.
By the way, I treat never keep. Okay. I treat never keep.
Chud says, "I will take your toothbrush." If you had voted for Vermin Supreme, you could have got a free one.
Right. And a pony.
Voted for Vermin Supreme.
And a fucking pony.
That is on you, motherfucker. On you.
Yep.
I actually.
You know what, though, Chad? You're welcome to my toothbrush. Just let me know when you want to come pick it up, and I'll make sure I swipe it across my ass crack before you get here.
Hey, he might like that.
There's people that will pay good money for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to go ahead and sell that, my girlfriend totally she's done similar things. Not proud of them, but it's happened.
I ever thought about voting.
Like those fucking vending machines in Japan that the schoolgirls fucking sell their underwear too.
Yeah. Vermin Supreme, though, like the only time I was like, hey, voting is immoral. It's an act of aggression. But ponies, man.
Ponies and fighting ISIS with time machines. I mean,
okay, but you know what? Voting for Vermin Supreme is not like actually voting. It's kind of like making a dank fucking meme.
It's trolling. It's pure trolling.
Can I volunteer for his next campaign? Like, does anybody have contact info for that? I'm all in, man. I'm all in.
Yeah, right?
Let's go jump on it. Yo,
dude fucking wears a boot on his head.
How can you not love that?
All right, okay.
It's speaking of like Donkey Kong, y'all.
All right, speaking of guns, I just came across another article. It's not listed in the description, you guys. I'll post it there later. Democratic congressman says treat assault weapons the same way we treat machine guns.
Well, first of all, okay, so
assault weapons don't even fucking exist.
Exactly.
My background in the United States military, 14 years, was with weapons. I spent my entire career working around weapons.
Justin's the gun guy.
You retired as a gunner's mate, right?
I do guns. I was a gunner's mate. Yeah, I was a gunner's mate. That's what they called us, gunner's mates. Anyways, long story short, or short story long, who cares?
It's Justin. It could be either.
Either or.
Well, it'll be a really long story with like a really short punchline.
Right.
You know.
Well, this is what we're talking about. So, treat assault weapons like machine guns is what this apparently.
Assault weapons are fucking machine guns.
I'm getting to that point. First of all, the word assault weapon is a made up word. It's a politician's word. It's a media word. Assault rifle or Sturmgewehr, STG 44
or STG 40.
STG 44 is Sturmgewehr, is a German weapon that's the first shoulder fired, magazine fed, gas operated weapon system that shot a rifle or machine gun caliber bullet.
Well, intermediate caliber, let's be specific.
Well, the Sturmgewehr shot I want to say was a 3, or obviously in the Europeans use metric system. They're fucking dumb. They don't know what's going on. So I was going to say a 308 by, it was like a 308 by, they call it 7.62 by 51.
Yeah, 792 actually.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Long story short, you said.
It was a 792 by 33. I'm just saying.
So, long story short, again, is the fact that
you keep saying that, and it keeps not being true.
Assault weapons are treated exactly like machine guns because they're not real, and machine guns are real, but assault weapons are not real.
Yeah. All right. So as far as weapons go, first of all, I need to point something out because I get a lot of people who want to say, "Oh, well, you're just saying that because you're gonna." No, you don't want to know why I'm saying that. Let me go ahead and introduce you to my work manual.
There you go, Weapon Sergeant 18 series.
18 Bravo.
There you go, brother.
So that is why when I say I know a thing or two about weapons, I mean I know a thing or two about fucking weapons. So what drives me insane is when people say, well, we should treat assault weapons at the same as a machine gun. Well, an assault rifle, which is the only assault weapon that I'm aware of, is already automatic and already banned and already ridiculously expensive. You know what?
But an AR-15 is not a fucking assault rifle.
Right. All right. So let me carry you through. So there may potentially be people viewing this who don't understand what the difference is between an AR-15 and an M16, right, or an M4, which is what most of the military uses is M4s now. I don't think anybody's used an M16 in a while.
We use Mark 18s, which were 10-inch barrel M4s.
Yeah, I had somebody arguing with me the other day saying that the same fucking thing, the AR-15s are standard issue in the military, and I was like, are you fucking brain dead?
Yeah, so I did a video on this on Inked Anarchist. I don't know if I actually posted it once I created the Inked Anarchist YouTube page. If anybody wants to check it out, go for it. Otherwise, follow me on Facebook. Self-plug. That is on there. But
shameless plug.
He does
we're all about shameless plugging around here.
Yeah, no, so here's
more than others, Jericho.
Yeah. No, so here's the quickest breakdown that I can do, right? So if you go through the history of the AR, right, it was originally developed by Eugene Stoner as the AR-10. It fired a 308 cartridge, 7.62 NATO. That was because the United States military kind of demanded that out of all of our allies, and then, like the complete asshole that America is, we decided to go with an intermediate cartridge after we forced everybody to go with the bigger one, but that's neither here nor there. So they developed the AR-10. It's in 308. It's a gas-operated system, rotating bolt. It is absolutely the single best rifle action ever created in the history of planet Earth, and I don't care what anybody has to say about it.
There's AK guys screeching right now.
Yeah, well, you know what? You drop an AK in the mud and cover it in mud and try to fire it, and then you drop an AR, dust cover open or closed, in the mud and try to fire it. You let me know which one works without manual operation. Right?
The AR, just don't try it with an M16 or you got a fucking doorstop.
The AR-15 stands for Assault Rifle 15.
Assault Rifle.
It doesn't stand for Assault Rifle.
All right, so Eugene Stoner develops this. He sells it to Armalite Rifles. Armalite Rifles picks it up.
Which is what AR stands for. Can we stop for a second and tell everybody that AR stands for Armalite Rifles?
Armalite Rifle. When it's developed as the M16, that's because that is the iteration in military parlance that it is. I don't really want to get into what military parlance actually translates to, but the preceders include like all sorts of weird like survival rifles and all sorts of other shit. Anyway, so you have now the AR-10, which is 308. It's a really big caliber. It's a really heavy rifle that gets developed with a rotating bolt. Remington happens to have come up with the 223 Remington round, which is this beautiful intermediate caliber. They did not develop it for the AR. What they had actually developed it for was a lever action, or I think maybe pump action gun. That was a hunting gun that failed miserably because it was crap. But anyway, so they developed this round. The military looks at it. They go, hey, this is really great. They tell Eugene, hey, look, we love your rifle, but it's awful big. It's awful heavy. Can we maybe develop this slightly smaller caliber? It gets developed into what becomes the M16. Then Armalite decides that they really can't supply the civilian market, so they sell the license to Colt. Colt starts providing it for both the military and the civilian market. They sell it to the civilian market as the AR-15 into 23. In the 1980s, you have 5.56 NATO developed. Now the AR is basically just the action, which I would say offhand, maybe 60 different weapons used on the market right now. With the rotating multi-lug bolt direct impingement design. Now we even have piston guns like the HK-416 and things. But that's the brief history of it. At no point do you have a direct translation of military technology into civilian technology. You have a civilian who developed a civilian gun, who sold it to the military, who adapted it for military service and changed the caliber, that then said, hey, we'll also sell it in a civilian caliber, in civilian guys, to civilians as well.
Yeah, and I tried telling this douchebag all of that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that people forget. Here's the thing that people forget. Andrew gave us a beautiful breakdown of Eugene Soner and the AR Armalite rifle, Model 15. It was amazing. I mean, that's basically from the textbook. Like you can't get it from anywhere else. This is what people don't realize that matters. I don't give a fuck. If it's a fucking military gun or not a military, I don't give a fuck. You know what I give a fuck about? I'm a free motherfucking man.
Yep.
And I'll own whatever the hell I please.
Yep. Oh, dude!
What's really
any machine gun? I am fully for the repeal of the NFA. You know what? All these liberals,
I'm all for
there and say,
tactical pocket McNukes.
No, you know what? All of these liberals. See, this is where ANCAPs and voluntarists and everybody else needs to realize. What you need to do is you need to advocate for the full repeal of the NFA.
Yes.
Because you need to tell them, hey, look, the NFA is making all of these machine guns super popular and super valuable. In fact, even just a registered drop-in auto sear, which I don't have. I really wish I did, but I have a friend who has one. He paid $22,000. It's two pieces of metal and a spring. It's a drop-in auto sear, fully registered. If you want machine guns,
realistically, anybody with mechanical capabilities
machining
and
skills.
a machine shop could make.
It's so simple. But see, here's the other thing: is that the liberals will go, well, yeah, all you need to do is drop that into an AR-15. No, you don't. You need a special selector switch, hammer, and bolt carrier for that.
But
tool.
you know what?
And
This whole discussion wouldn't even be necessary if they knew the first fucking thing about any of this. All of their opinion is based on ignorance and fear and fucking emotional reactivism.
It's because it's what the media tells them to care about.
Right.
They
don't know the first goddamn thing about
Where's Dan?
it.
Where's Dan? Dan. He's around
right here.
He might have muted.
What's up?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So what Jason was saying?
I'm here.
Fear and what the media and what the tribe, the nation.
That's what they're being told.
Well, dude, I mean,
us.
my friend Rachel Tobias, I want to give her a shout out because she was the one. She's been working on investigating this whole Parkland thing with the shooting that supposedly took place, down in Florida. And she said that one of the classrooms that the shooting took place in was in a Holocaust studies class. And I was like, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a actual Holocaust studies class. That's pretty wild. So she was like, she's making all these connections. I mean, not just the Jewish side of it, but there was there was legit very heavily involved Jewish connections in that whole thing.
David Hawkins as Jew.
Well, the head sheriff he was
Scott Israel
quoted the Talmud in his acceptance speech. That's just one of the things. And then the Chabad house, which was right across the street from where they got video of Nicholas Cruz leaving the school or whatever, and they were the ones that turned the video into the FBI. And they were involved with meeting up with it's almost like a Israeli hit squad, and they do they're retired IDF, and they do hit jobs.
We talked about this last time.
Were we?
Last time we talked about this. They're not Mossad. They're not Mossad, but they're basically Israeli.
Yeah, I forget what they're. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But they do like
my white Russian's gone, guys.
All right.
Just thought you guys would all like to know.
Dan, me and you are right there, brother. I know it.
Yeah, but it's pretty crazy. Like she was like, I didn't want to like, she's like, I wasn't trying to like look for this stuff. She was raised Jewish and everything, and she's like, I didn't go out of my way trying to find where the truth kind of led me, and I was like, well, that's pretty crazy, dude.
Yeah.
All right, let's we only got like half an hour left, and I got 2 articles, and I really want to get to this one because we got to go up to Andrew's little corner of the world.
Oh boy,
Milwaukee.
Oh god, Chicago Light.
This is the one. What? Justin and I talked about this one a little bit before the show started, and I could see him turning red and getting angry.
I'm already red, so let's do it.
Yeah. Two police officers who broke down a mentally ill man's door and tased him in the shower 18 times with a stun gun before he died will not be criminally charged. Milwaukee County District Attorney John Chilson has decided. More than 30 minutes elapsed between the first time the Western Milwaukee officers deployed their tasers and the time Adam Trammell lost consciousness in the hallway of his apartment building, known to officers as a place that housed people with mental illnesses, according to police reports.
So time out. So this guy was in his own house.
Yes. So in between, Trammell suffered a black eye, a broken rib, and more than 24 cuts and bruises, according to the medical examiner's report. On the officer's body camera footage, Trammell can be heard screaming in agony. Chisholm concluded that there was, quote, no basis to conclusively link the death of Trammell with what occurred in May, the officer's actions. Whoa. The officers, Michael Rolder and Anthony Munoz, quote, responded to a medical emergency under complex circumstances that required them to attempt restraint. Chisholm wrote. Okay, but Trammell, who was 22 and suffered from schizophrenia, just like Kelly Thomas, did not exhibit.
I was just going to say that.
Did not exhibit any sign of needing medical attention until the officers had attempted to forcibly remove him from the shower.
So time out. First of all, you said Kelly Thomas, and that really fucking makes me mad. All right.
Yeah.
It makes me mad. I heard the fucking tapes. Okay.
Ah, dude.
Fuck those fucking pigs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh man, that thing
like
is
hearing him cry for his dad, dude. That shit fucked me.
Yeah.
That shit fucked me up, dude.
I don't understand what the mentality is.
27 times he cried.
Yes.
Please.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dad, help me. Dad, help me.
Dad, help me. Dad, help me. They're killing me. Yeah. When the police pulled aside the shower curtain, Trammell stood still and stared blankly at them. The body camera footage shows. Quote, the police...
because he was in the middle of a shower. What the fuck, man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quote, the police tortured Adam Trammell to death, says Robin Shallow, one of the attorneys representing the Trammell family. Quote, this was not help. They were not protecting or serving anyone. Naked, cold, confused, alone in his own bathroom, and crying for Jesus to take him. He needlessly suffered.
Wow. How can you
Jason,
how can you sleep at night after doing some shit like that to another person?
I'm not blaming you, by the way.
You really need to understand, first of all, Milwaukee to this point has had a sheriff, and I'm sure everybody's seen him. Black dude, cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat.
Yeah, lauded by every conservative, blah, 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 right? Exactly. And don't get me wrong, the guy...
Yeah, David Cleveland.
I do have to admit, the guy did a lot to reform the Milwaukee Police Department. He did. It hadn't changed much since Prohibition. It was a lot of pay for play until he took over.
His name David Clark?
David Clark.
Yeah. You see him on Fox News all the time.
Yeah. Black guy with, like Andrew said, black guy with cowboy hat. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm about to get attacked by Demon Cat here, but so
it's an NSA puppet.
She's such a bitch. I can't even tell you. So
I love it.
She is the knight as far as she's concerned. No, so you do need to understand that this is the mentality that guy who is what I would call an intellectual. God damn it, Cat. Fuck off. Jesus. Every goddamn day. At least she hasn't shit in the hallway yet. I'll give her that. So anyway, no, what you need to understand is that this guy is largely an intellectual equivalent with Joe Arpaio. Right?
Yes, lovely. Mariposa County, Arizona.
Yeah.
Arpaio's a piece of shit. First of all.
He's and you know what? And Maricopa is so much better without him. And I would never have been planning a move to Arizona like I am now.
I was still there.
If he was still there, you know,
dude had like bunks set up outdoors and shit, didn't he?
Yeah, he basically like threw people into tents in 100+ degree desert weather.
Yeah, that's what they're essentially. They were essentially concentration camps, and they had to wear like pink clothing and.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And I mean the pink clothing, fine, fuck it, whatever. But
put me in pink, but I don't want to be in the fucking middle of the goddamn 150-degree fucking heat.
It was 102 in Mesa today. Oh
yeah, exactly, and that. You know, and I do want to move to Arizona, and I want to move to Arizona actually for a few reasons. The biggest reason is it is, in my opinion anyway, and I'm sure I'm going to catch a lot of shit, but in my opinion, it is the most libertarian and or borderline anarchist that you'll find in the U.S. anyway. State
Wyoming
in the U.S.
Wyoming kind of Wyoming wrong, by the way.
Wyoming has got an awful lot of federal intervention, and I've seen that firsthand from having backpacked across Continental Divide there a couple times, and there's a lot of federal shit there.
What you meant to say was that there's only like 500,000 people in the entire state, and the state is twice as big as like Maryland or Delaware, like 10 times bigger. There's only 500,000 people in the entire state, and you can easily get lost out there away from the assholes.
I have twice as many people in my county as are in the state of Wyoming.
Right. And I know people in Wyoming, and they're cool. And like my time spent in Wyoming, I loved, and I've gone elk hunting in Wyoming and things, and I loved it.
All right, let's get
okay. So let's get back to the Milwaukee sheriff.
Let's get back on Milwaukee.
So this guy has basically created this culture in the police, and it's a culture change that has gone from what it used to be, where it was largely still this prohibition mentality that you would approach a lot of people with a "what can you do for me so that I don't take you to jail" thing, which it's got its downsides, but it works for Mexico. So let's be honest.
It doesn't work for Mexico. Mexico's a fucking shithole.
Well,
and to answer Andrew's question, what can you do for me so that I don't take you to jail? I'll tell you what I won't do for you. If you don't get the fuck out of my face, I won't shoot you. Right.
Well, and that's and the funny thing is that is a lot of what the mentality was, is just don't shoot me and I won't fuck with you. You don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. We all go about our business.
I like that.
That's called anarchy, my brother.
Oh.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, God, voluntary association. That's so scary.
That's what Milwaukee had. For by and large, that is what it had. And then it's only been in the past 10 years that's changed. And now suddenly it's this same hyper statist bullshit that you see all over the place, where it's my way or the highway from the cops. And I mean, the average like the thing that boggles my mind the most about this is like it's not like these guys didn't know what they were doing. The average taser throws out what, like 50,000 volts or
100,000.
something.
100,000 volts, yeah.
And it's a ridiculous amount of wattage, right? And the wattage is actually what does the damage.
Amps does damage. It's a police taser is supposed to be a 10-second ride. What we call the ride. If you've ever been tased before, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it sucks.
The ride, police taser is 10-second ride. A civilian taser that you can buy for like $250 is a 30-second ride. And the reason that the police taser is only 10 seconds and the civilian taser is 30 seconds,
the police one's more powerful.
Well, it's not as more powerful. It's just that you're on the juice longer on a civilian taser, because the idea is that with a police taser, you get hit and they can cuff you.
Yeah,
that's all they need.
That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a
30-second ride.
A control tool.
The civilian world, the 30-second ride you get in the civilian world is because you get hit, and that gives the person that hit you enough time to get away from you.
Yeah.
For whatever reason that you got hit with that shit. So like rapists and shit, like guys that are trying to rape girls and shit. Right. She hits them with a taser. She got 30 seconds, which is a long fucking time to be on the ride.
But cops aren't supposed to be tasing people. But cops are using tasers like at the slightest twitch, they hit the people again. Like they're using it to completely subdue people into being still.
The idea is that you replace hitting them with a physical object with hitting them with
like a billy club.
The problem is, and the biggest issue is that you can hit somebody with a billy club relatively hard and repeatedly and do minimal damage. Like
but it lets them get their aggression out, and now they're trying to get their aggression out with a taser. Right,
and that's the thing is, yeah, I'll give you that. Like, say Rodney King, right? Like, let's go back to when we were kids and Rodney King and what sparked the LA riots. It was bullshit, and I'm not going to argue that. But the point is, what they did to him didn't necessarily stand a chance of stopping his fucking heart.
Right.
Whereas, if you're throwing a shit ton of electricity through somebody who's wet, like, let's take these people back to chemistry class and water and what it does with electricity.
Yeah.
Like, if you're throwing fucking even 30 amps through somebody, you can fucking kill them.
Yes.
I've been hit.
Well, they did kill him.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, it's very easy.
They killed the fucking kid in his own house.
But how do they not?
They killed the kid in his own house.
Okay, you know though that they've gone through some kind of training about these weapons and what they're capable of.
Absolutely.
I know that when you're doing like, let's say you're in the military, you're doing auxiliary security force or military police, something like that. Part of your training is being subjected to some of the crowd controller and weapons that you're going to be carrying. You have to be subjected to the OC spray. You have to experience it to complete your fucking training on it.
What Derek is saying about being hit with it so that you can use it.
Right.
You know how many times I've been hit with OC spray? I put that shit on my eggs. Okay. That's a con. Okay.
It's not even actually as hot as most peppers that are available now.
OC spray, but my point is,
well, it's the first time you're hit with it
is
you're
scary. Supposed to.
There's a lot of psychological to it, yeah.
Typically, the training on these weapons is that you're
Jason
supposed
knows
to
all too well.
Understand what the receiving end feels like.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, right? It's not about that you understand, and I'm saying this from the perspective of somebody who received a shit ton of training on how to avoid killing somebody, and then went, yeah, no, fuck it, I'm gonna kill him. Here's the idea, right? You teach somebody this hurts, this does this incapacitates you this way. That doesn't teach you don't do it because it's bad. That teaches you this is how much suffering this person is going to go through.
Right.
That's what it does.
Or here's how much you can inflict before you've crossed over.
Yeah. It takes
line.
And it takes a certain sadistic mentality or a certain us against them mentality. Like these police absolutely saw this guy as the enemy.
That's what I'm ultimately getting at. Like, it's not like they were fucking ignorant of the effects of this weapon that they're wielding, is what I'm getting at.
And who wants to take a bet that those cops went through that whole force proportional training,
force multiplier training?
Yeah, less than 6 months ago.
Absolutely, absolutely did.
I don't have enough money to bet you because I'll lose.
Yeah, and I just did a little math. 18 tases in 30 minutes. That comes out to 1 every 100 seconds.
That is
okay.
Less than 2 minutes. Full fucking pound of amperage. If anybody has ever, and I've done this because I'm a fucking idiot, and that happens sometimes. If anybody has ever accidentally touched both positive and negative on a car battery as they go to connect it, let me tell you, that is not that many amps, and it will knock you. It'll fucking knock you across a garage and make you feel like you've been punched in the chest.
Yeah,
and voltage has nothing to do with it, because all of my training in the military centered around working with high-powered fucking circuits and antennas and shit like that. I have a lot of training on electronics and electrical circuits. Voltage means almost fucking nothing. The amperage.
Yeah, you got 110 volts coming out of your wall. Right, that's your standard wall outlet. It's like 110. Your dryer's like 220. But the amperage that those carry is a lot different, and it's a different type of electricity than you would get out of a taser.
I think the thing we're forgetting is fuck all that. Don't electrocute people when they're in their own fucking house in their own fucking house. How about that?
That's the thing.
These cops breaking and entering, assault, and murder. Those are what they should at least be charged with.
That's what can be so difficult about describing these, like talking about these stories. There is so much wrong with this. There is so fucking. We could talk all night just about this one story and everything that's wrong with it.
Well, this poor guy has done nothing wrong.
Yeah, he did nothing wrong.
A fucking shower, and he throws open his door. They throw open his curtain, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then,
by the way, I had the cops called on me for health and welfare like a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yep, it was like 2 months ago.
It was like 2 months ago. I had the cops call me. I think I talked to Jason about this offline. Long story short, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Right.
What happened was I said some dumb shit online. I was in a bad place, and I was feeling kind of shitty. And I said some dumb shit online. Somebody sent the cops to my house. But thank God,
I remember
I
that.
don't actually live in my house. Dumbass. They send the cops to my dad's house. And my dad calls me. He's like, why the fuck cops to my house?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. What do you mean? They're like, yo, somebody called them because you were saying some dumb shit online about how you were pissed off and sad and shit. And I was like, hey, man, shit happens. And why are the cops at my house? And I was like, I don't fucking know. So I called this person. I was like, why did you send the cops to my dad's house? Well, I was just trying to make sure that you're okay. Blah, blah,
Never
blah.
Call the fucking.
Why don't you
Never.
fucking go to their house?
Here's the thing.
To their credit, they don't live anywhere near me. It was like they're from another state, so you know.
No, you know what? And to a certain extent, I understand that, because look, as a veteran, as a combat veteran, right? 22 a day. We all know that number.
Yeah.
Right. We understand that number.
I've lost brothers. You've lost brothers. We've lost brothers.
And I've almost been that number. I've almost been that number repeatedly.
Me as well.
And
almost.
And I understand. I understand being really scared, right? Because we lose way too many people, way too many of us, right? Way too many of us that have seen way too many things, and we've been through way too many things, and we survived it, and we came home, and it's not fair. And I get that. I do. I understand. But look, That is, we didn't call the MPs when shit went down, right?
No.
We didn't call the MPs. We dealt with that shit ourselves.
Yeah.
We dealt with that shit. We fucking took care of our brothers, right? Why the fuck are you calling the fucking fuzz now? Deal with it yourself. Because the fuzz, they don't know how to do it. They're a fucking hammer. Everything looks like a nail.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And when everything looks like a nail,
and they're typically low IQ anyways. Really, I mean, like they should not be in charge of life or death decisions for other people.
Well, it's been ruled by SCOTUS that's Supreme Court of the United States that police departments have the right to reject high IQ individuals. And that is because high IQ individuals are thinking individuals
and can question authority.
And can question
authority.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
the fact that you're worried,
they're less likely to blindly follow orders.
Yeah, the fact that you're worried about people being too smart to just obey your orders says a lot about your orders.
Yeah, it does.
Yes. And again, the Supreme Court has also ruled several times that police have no obligation to protect you.
No.
Zero. Not a zip zilch zero. You are responsible
Jason,
for your own.
what is the only actual obligation of the police force?
To enforce law.
That's it.
So if you know someone,
someone
that you're worried about, so if you know someone you're worried about, and you think they might be suicidal or contemplating something drastic like that, and you want someone to check on them, but you live in another state, order them a fucking pizza from Domino's.
Yes.
Order them a fucking pizza from Domino's.
Don't send the cops to my house, please.
Do not send the cops.
No.
Yeah, don't send the fucking and that's the thing, dude, the cops from my local PD, if they show up at my house, they're showing up with guns drawn. They knew who I am.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. They know who I am. They know what I'm capable of. The last time I got arrested, which was thankfully years ago, but the last time I got arrested, I got literally thanked by 3 officers for not resisting.
Jeez.
They know who I am.
Not only that, but the police, if you call a welfare check, if you call the police for a welfare check, they show up. They're gonna bang on the door. Nobody answers the door. They're gonna try and get in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if they get in and there's somebody there, guns are coming out, forces being used, they're being put on the ground, handcuffed. They're gonna get beat as they resist. Congratulations!
Because they fear for their life.
Situation even worse.
Right. They fear for their life. Right. Surprise! Surprise! People want to hurt you when you break into their fucking home.
And that's the thing. And
it's violence and aggression are the only thing that police know.
They're the hallmarks of that fucking job. That is the whole point of that job.
Dude,
literally.
It's that is it, right? And that's the difference. See, and I see it as the difference between my job and what Big Army did, right? Big Army, everything's a nail, you're a hammer.
Yes.
You exist to exert violence. My job was different, right? My job was to win the war and the peace. That was my job.
Hearts and minds, Rambo, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was tech side of the house, we kept networks. Communications networks running.
But I mean, as far as from an infantry perspective and boots on the ground, the majority of big army, right? They exist to exert force, coercive force against people who disagree.
Right.
And that actually is stated, and I was super impressed. If you've never seen Gods and Generals, the movie based on Jeff Shara's book, which was incredible, a great work of historical fiction. But if you've never seen that movie, it specifically mentions that, where he specifically says, it's actually, the general at Little Round Top and all of my history professors, because I majored in military history, are going to be yelling right now.
That one guy.
I don't remember his name. Anyway, Lawrence something.
It doesn't matter. I want to go back to something you just said. You said when you're in the military, when you're infantry, your job was to assert aggression, right? I think that's what you used.
Exert force.
Exert force.
Exert force.
And that was your job in the military, right?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're big army, not me, but the guys who are big army, that is their job. That is it.
Right.
And I believe that mentality has transferred over to civilian law enforcement.
Oh,
right?
Definitely. They become super militarized, and
you see them rolling around. You see them rolling around in full camos.
Well, you know who trains a majority of the city police forces, right?
Yeah, IDF.
Oh, dude, I helped to train, and one of the guys that served in my unit trains the Reno, Nevada SWAT team right now. That right, like literally right now, I helped train the Reno, Nevada SWAT team.
And you were in a very specialized unit, right? You had advanced training. You knew like advanced techniques and all this other stuff, right?
Oh yeah, we went after. I mean, we had door breaching. Room clearing, everything, like the best of the best. That's what we do. I mean, that's not a to brag, although it's a point of pride. But
yeah, and that sort of thing is being taught to civilian law enforcement,
and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, and that's where the mentality is coming from.
Be.
So
I actually, and it's a thing that I've actually kind of wrestled with, because with as much force as we exert, right? As my unit exerts anyway, we exert just as much peace and negotiation and interaction. Now, we're not normal army. That isn't normally what the army does. That isn't what the normal military does. We're specialized, very small force. My A team was 12 guys. Okay, 12 guys. That's it. So we're not representative of the average military. So if you have regular guys from the military going into civilian police forces, they're not going in with my mentality.
No.
They're going in with the force, violence, damage, destroy mentality. Right. That is what they're going in with.
And the type of unit you were in was more autonomous, and you guys had to do more of your own thinking. And
Andrew was 18 Bravo,
right? But the average
18 Bravo,
18 right? Bravo.
But the average grunts that are then transferring over into police units,
they're axes, right? That's what their axes. Andrew was a scalpel,
right?
Well, I like both scalpels and axes. They both
and they have their places.
But
but turn towards their own citizens is not their fucking place.
No,
what Andrew said earlier is the crux of the whole issue. When you tell everybody their nails, what do hammers do?
Right.
Yeah.
When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Smash the fuck out of nails. Right.
Yeah.
No. That's what you do. So these guys, and I mean, Andrew's an 18 ODA team, they have ODD teams, obviously. I was with Naval Special Warfare as a sport technician. I was never in the SEAL teams. I never claimed to be in the SEAL teams, but I've worked with a lot of those guys. And it's the same shit. Like, oh, fuck. Not everybody's a nail? I don't have to hit the shit out of everybody.
Right.
But that's not how the rest of the what Andrew says big army, that's big military. That's big government anywhere. When everybody looks like a nail and you're the hammer, what do? You fucking smash their ass.
Well, that is the difference. With
their militarized police, if it's not in a fucking uniform, it's a potential bogey. I mean, it's you or us. And they're not part of.
And that is the mentality. That is
what's that, Justin?
That gets carried on.
Bogey.
Yeah, bogey's a good word.
All right, Mav.
All right. Last one, you guys. Last one.
Yeah, because it's 11 o'clock and I have to pee.
Well, too bad you can hold it. I'm glad Justin's here for this one because Justin's gonna get a good laugh for this one.
Damn, dude, why you gotta hit me up with two back to back? Go ahead.
One machete crime every 90 minutes on Britain streets as police try to deal with thugs, carry out murders, rapes, and burglaries.
Don't get me started about that fucking meme of a country. That country is it's not even a fucking country, okay? Like
not anymore now.
Like when I read this shit. Like I talked to Jason about this the other day. I read this shit about in Britain, you have to have a fucking photo ID, obviously government issue because you can't get one anywhere else. Photo ID to have a television.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you have to have a license. Hey, you have to get a fucking. You have to pay for a license
this is not
from the government to own a television.
This is not Orwellian. This is not dystopian. This is fucking real life England.
It's reality in England.
It's reality. And you know what? Fuck it. Fuck all that other shit that people like. Oh, the colonizers, that. 200 years ago, the United Kingdom was the empire the sun never set on.
Right.
Now the sun can't even fucking rise there because you don't have a fucking license for that shit. You
kidding
me?
Motherfuckers have been cucked hard, man.
They haven't.
They are, and I hate that term because that's some bullshit alt-right shit, and I have some kind of feels about the alt-right because it's not the right, not the traditional conservative right.
Right.
No. Well, even that is
right, so technically speaking, we're all alt-right.
If you really look at who's at the heart of that, though, it's controlled opposition.
But Britain,
I know it's
okay.
I know it is.
Britain has always
a fucking dumbass.
Britain has always been a shithole.
They call Richard
anybody.
Spencer the face of the alt-right. He's a fucking, first of all, he's a national socialist.
He's a socialist.
Mm-hmm.
Last I checked, socialist is the fucking key word.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, wait, who did you say? You said Richard Spencer?
Richard Spencer, yeah.
Yeah, he's a fucking tool, that guy. I remember reading one of his tweets and he was like talking about single payer health insurance. And I'm like,
that's what he's for. He's for socialized medicine.
Yeah.
He's the
there's nothing
opposition.
There's nothing right wing about
that. Leftist.
Right.
Yeah, he's leftist. How the fuck they call anything about him right? I don't get. Like, that dude takes 3 left-hand turns just to go right.
That's what it is. Dan already said it. It's controlled opposition. It's
controlled opposition.
It's propaganda and indoctrination.
He's an arrogant fucking pompous ass. I watched one of his I started watching one of his fucking college fucking speaking events, and they were just booing him the whole time, and he wasn't even making any good points. He was just being an arrogant douchebag.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing is basically going back to what Dan said, which again I don't like the term because the alt-right has fucking basically usurped it, cucked.
We're supposed to be talking about machete attacks in England.
England is cucked as fuck.
No, but
I told you.
Yeah,
England really fucking
England is cucked as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
200 years ago, it was the empire the sun never set on. Nowadays, that you can't fucking go out there without fucking getting your wife raped and then have to apologize for it.
And then get fucking beheaded in the streets.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, man.
Fuck that place.
For example,
twice.
Yeah,
right. And this is where I'm going to slip into my Irish accent that I grew up with, right? Because it's just easier. Grew up in Limerick, represent, right? But here's where it comes from, right? So the Irish, they've known what the British really were for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
And we've tried, and my dad, he's doing quite a bit to try and get rid of them. It's as far as I'm going there.
I love you
said but
we all get it.
Shakira. But so, the British don't understand that all they've done by getting rid of the guns that they've gotten rid of is, one, create an underground market for it, and two, that they've managed to make knives the go-to.
Right.
They made bladed weapons the go-to. Now, it's come out recently that, obviously London's gone beyond what New York has as far as the murder rate and whatnot,
and the murders. Yeah.
I tried to look up some statistics. It looks like all I can get access to is like the 2017.
Andrew's scaring the fuck out of me right now, by the way.
But it's not just murder. You have to look at all violent crime rates. Rape has skyrocketed.
Oh, it's rape skyrocketed. There's all sorts of things, right? Because and you don't see that even in Northern Ireland, and you don't see that in Northern Ireland as opposed to Britain proper, because in Northern Ireland you still have a lot of guns. You have a lot of guns.
The Irish have guns.
Whether British wants to admit it, whether the even the Garda on the Irish side or not, whether they want to admit it or not is irrelevant. There's a shite ton of guns, right? Because we make them ourselves.
Andrew's scaring the fuck out of me, by the way. That's some fucking Jason Bourne shit. He's been trained in this shit.
I moved there when I was 6 years old. I lived there till I was about 15, so about 9 years. And I came back and I sounded like this, and I still go back there from time to time. Now my dad, he was a true, but the IRA, if nobody knows, and I'm sure that most people in the United States don't, the IRA is pretty much reformed because all of the various groups have rejoined. And it's a beautiful thing. Yay, unity.
It's a beautiful thing, yes.
So we but so my dad taught me when I was growing up, we build our own. We build a lot of submachine guns. We buy what we can, as far as AR-15s, AR-70s, a lot of things. But the guns all still come in. They're all still there in Northern Ireland. So Northern Ireland is completely different than you get in Britain proper. And in Britain proper, you get this like ridiculous thing where nobody can get guns legally, so they can't defend themselves.
Yes.
And
even when they do, that 70-year-old guy that the three assholes broke into his fucking house.
Yeah, and he stabbed one.
Fucking stabbed him with a screwdriver.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that.
And people erected a memorial for the fucking criminal that broke into his house.
That's how ass backwards it is. That's what I mean by
Britain.
like it.
That's Britain.
Like we said last time we talked about it, it's like
cucked.
living in fucking
it's
like living in bizarro world.
They're cuckolds.
It is.
Like okay, like
Exactly.
They enjoy watching their wives get fucked by other men.
Even as bad as California is, as bad as San Francisco is, as liberal as socialist as San Francisco is, even they allow firearms.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You can't have hollow points, but I mean you can own firearms in San Francisco.
That sucks. I love me some hollow points.
I ask the average person who lives
fucking hollow.
No, I ask the average person who lives in London right now. You go ahead, you go to the Thames, right? The edge of the Thames, and you go along there and you tell me how many guns you see. And how many people you see that don't give a shit that people are carrying guns, because if you sit there and tell me they're not there, no, they are. They're just in the hands of everybody who is probably inclined to use them.
Well, if you make them against the law, the only people who will have them are people who don't mind breaking the law.
But see, here's the thing, is that the criminals also don't simultaneously do not give a shit about the fact that the average person's under threat from all sorts of people. Whereas, and that's kind of one of those cultural differences. In Ireland, a lot of the people who have the guns that are legal, we actually do care because we're about community, and that starts to get into some political
as it should be, yes.
But we care about the people who live next to us, and that's what we care about, right? In England, what you see, though, is the same murder rate and higher than New York. During the same time period a year ago, right, in New York, they had like 5 murders total in New York by firearms, but they had like 15 by other means. And you have 12 already by this point in London.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why. Because the criminals don't give a shit what you've given them. Yeah. They're going to use whatever they can. If they have to pick up a fucking rock, they're going to pick up a rock.
Yeah. Why don't people understand?
Exactly.
Look.
It's all about dedication.
Killing somebody is against the law already. So if I want to kill someone, why would you think I would give a fuck about breaking another law when I choose which tool I'm going to use to kill this person with? Like,
laws are nothing but words on paper that are less useful than toilet paper.
Yep. Exactly. I would not want to wipe with it because
I totally disagree. Jason. Hold on, Jason. I totally disagree.
What's that?
Laws are worthless words on paper. That's more worthless than toilet paper, right?
Yes.
Toilet paper has never put me in jail.
No,
that's what
words have never put you in jail either. Words have never put you in jail.
Yeah, words don't put you in jail either.
The belief in statism has. Not words on paper.
I understand
Order
that.
followers.
We all understand that, my friends, my Anarchy Roundtable friends. We all understand that. What I'm getting at is that while I'm a big Max Stirner fan. I believe in spooks and what spooks are and not spooks are and all that shit. Laws are spooks and riots are spooks. They're all fucking spooks. But guess what?
And CTMs are spooks. Wait, sorry. That's what they used to call us in the Navy.
A little bit inside, not gonna lie.
Stirner, Stirner's guy. He's got his head on the right track. He knows abstracts and concretes. Okay, we've all learned this shit. Abstracts, like rights, are abstract. If rights were really rights, if they really existed in real life, then people couldn't take them away from you, but they do. And what do they do it with? They do it with guns.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say that they take them away from you. They violate them. There's a difference between taking something away from you and violating it.
Oh, so
to me,
I think that rights are something
you're justified. Okay, to me, all that a right is something you're justified in using deadly force to achieve.
Negative rights is what you're talking about.
Right.
You have the right not to be killed. You have the right.
Exactly. I'm justified in using deadly force to defend myself, to make you leave my stuff alone.
So
to make you leave my family alone.
Hey, 5D chess, my dude. Here we go. Ready? Where's Donald Trump? Ready? dig on this. All human rights
are property rights. Took the words right out of your mouth, didn't I?
Erica is so fucking smart. I love her. She knew where I was going with that.
I knew exactly where you were going with that.
It's 7D chess.
Yeah.
She knew where I was going with that.
All right.
The point is, we're going back to the long story short, Jason, is that I take poops sometimes, and toilet paper has never shot me in the face or broke into my shower and tasered me. But laws do.
But no, the Constitution
laws
didn't
don't.
do that either.
Laws, yes, they fucking do, Jason.
No, laws don't.
No,
only individuals act.
No, I understand where Jason's going with this, and that's the biggest thing. The fucking cat just bit me in the toe. Don't mind me. Seriously, cat, such a cunt.
Gulag for that cat.
Oh God, I hate it. Anyway, so it's my roommate's cat, not mine.
Cat's always violating the nap.
Yeah. God, he is too. I think shitting should.
I like Dan said it best.
I don't know.
Cats violating the nap. I love it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that cats
They're really bad puns.
Do not give a fuck, but at the same time, it irritates me a lot, and I really prefer dogs. I miss my pit bull that my ex wife kept. But anyway, so I mean, and ultimately, I understand what Jason's saying is a law and an edict, which is an edict from somebody who's in power, is a meaningless rant from a crazy person without a person to use violence to enforce it.
Yes.
Right. Someone who believes in those words written on that paper. It's not the words. It's not the paper. It's not the belief. It is the human being that enforces that.
My absolute favorite meme. It says, "I really hate it when people try to justify their immoral and illegal actions by saying, quote, I'm just doing my job. If you don't like it, blame the lawmakers. But the truth is, without your compliance, without the laws they make, or without your compliance with the laws they make, without enforcing them, Washington would not be an issue. It would just be a group of people in suits, circle jerking, dreaming of taking away all your freedoms and rights and writing it down on paper.
I'm pretty sure I didn't create that one, but I might have. I don't remember. How old is that?
That's a good meme.
You can't claim credit for all of them, Andrew.
I think Larkin might have wrote.
I don't claim credit for most.
Where's that? Is that a Ben Stone quote? Is that from Sedition, Subversion, and Sabotage?
No.
No, I think it might have been Larkin Rose.
I got some information on Ben for you after the show, but
okay.
I'm not putting it over there.
Jason,
yo,
I asked you for a quote. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I can't remember.
Yeah, the Robert Heinlein one.
Robert Heinlein, yeah. Which basically it alluded to what we have to suffer through as
it says
humans that live in an anarchist mindset, but within a
statist paradigm.
Yeah, he says I am free no matter what rules surround me. If I find them tolerable, I tolerate them. If I find them obnoxious, I break them. I am free because I know that I alone am morally responsible for everything I do.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that quote.
The ultimate agorist quote.
So
yeah.
On that note, you guys, we're probably past time, but I want to say that no animal has more liberty than the cat, but it buries the mess it makes. The cat is the best anarchist. That is Ernest Hemingway.
Take that, Andrew.
Yes.
This cat is a cunt.
Yes.
So on that note, this has been Anarchy Wrong Friends Roundtable Discussion, episode 32. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Until that time, peace, love, anarchy.
My camera's not off. I just turned the lights off because I have to go to bed.